We are all ships rising on a turquoise tide, headed ever closer towards winning the next general election. It's been a day of some considerable news. It seems that female politicians are all the rage at the moment. We had our own very positive announcement overnight, of which you will hear more. But the reason that I've moved this speaking time forward is because this government is deep in crisis. Not only have they fallen into deep popularity within just a year of winning the general election, but it's become clear to all of us that it is a cabinet of wholly unqualified people to run our country. They are not fit to govern. I suppose we're lucky in one way that at least the Chancellor was a senior economist at the Bank of England for 10 years. And that the business secretary is a fully qualified solicitor. And that the deputy prime minister and housing secretary, until half an hour ago, is an accomplished property developer and speculator. But you simply can't get away, can you, from being the housing secretary and avoiding £40,000 of council tax. And it screams to entitlement. It screams to a government that, despite all the promises that this would be a new, different kind of politics, is as bad, if not worse, than the one that went before. We've been told that right now the Prime Minister is organising a reshuffle. Yet another reset. And that the names of the new cabinet will come out later on this afternoon. Well, I didn't want the Prime Minister to do anything to spoil our conference, and that's why I've come on the stage now to say they are not fit to govern. The Conservative Party are riven. In fact, Nadine Dorries said overnight the Conservative Party are dead. Deservedly so. Deservedly so. And they will not be forgiven. They will not be forgiven for their betrayals over the course of the last 5 years. Mass migrations, illegal immigrants crossing the channel, sky-high taxes, and much else. But in the middle of this meltdown of these two parties that have dominated for 100 years British politics, in the middle of all of this, there is a new, strong, unified party that speaks with one voice, that knows it's determined to put the interests of Britain and the British people above that of outdated international treaties or dubious courts. We are the patriotic party. We are the party that stands up for decent working people, and we are the party on the rise. Just think, I stood before you this time last year. At this very conference, we only had a handful of branches around the country. We now have 450 branches that we've set in place. As we entered the general election of 2024, we had 30,000 paid-up members. In the last hour, we've gone through 240,000 members. This time last year, we had very few councillors. Now we have over 900, and I've got to tell you, Last year I said to all of you, May the 1st is coming. Volunteer to stand in the county elections. And even though the government cancelled the elections in 9 of the counties that we would have won, we still won outright 10 county councils and became the largest party in 3 others. Unbelievable. And I'll be honest with you, as I toured around the country on May the 2nd, I frankly myself couldn't believe just how well we'd done. Couldn't believe the extent to which we'd caught the mood. And the real icing on the cake, and it may only have been by 6 votes, but never let anyone tell you ever again that my vote doesn't count, because it does. And we got Sarah Pochin elected in the Runcorn by-election. We have topped over 100 of the last opinion polls. Our lead is between 10 and 15% against any of the other parties. And I tell you what, given the state of chaos they're in, I think we can increase that lead further yet. Folks, it's happening. Now the next step is going to be even bigger. Scottish Parliament elections, Welsh Senate elections, and indeed a by-election that will take place in Wales next month. All 32 London boroughs will be up for election, and we will take that seriously as we get ready to have a mayoral candidate so that we can beat Sadiq Khan next time round. We're going to need up to 5,000 vetted candidates to fight those elections next year. Those elections next year are an essential building block as we head towards a general election. Now, talking of the general election, it's supposed to be in, I know you want it now, but it's not going to come now. The next general election is not due until 2029. But let me tell you, it's all right, I'll cheer you up in a moment. Angela Rayner going, not just as Housing Secretary, but also as elected Deputy Leader of the Labour Party and Deputy Prime Minister, means there will be an internal election in the Labour Party. Already, they're facing the threat of Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. That's if the two could ever agree on anything, including the choice of a party name. But I put this to you. This battle for Deputy Leader of the Labour Party will be very like the battles they had back in the early 1980s. The left of the Labour Party will rear its voice. We're used to hearing stories of splits in the Conservative Party. We're about to witness a big rift in the Labour Party too. And I think if there is one really big message from me to this conference, I don't think, and the bond markets back me up, and the leftward drift backs me up, and before long, there'll be Labour MPs that reckon they've got a better chance on the Jeremy Corbyn sectarian ticket, because frankly, folks, that's what's going on in our country. We have sectarian politics emerging. I loathe it. But there'll come a point when many MPs, Labour MPs, think they've got a better chance of being re-elected under that ticket, under Corbyn, than they do under Sir Keir. I think there is every chance now of a general election happening in 2027, and we must be ready for that moment. Now, we also, as a party, have to raise a lot of money, and we're making progress. Our treasurer, Charlton Edwards, and his team doing a great job. Our honorary treasurer, Nick Candy, has personally already put in over £500,000 of his own money. Nick, we thank you for that. But I want you two in the branches to go out and work and raise money, to volunteer to be candidates, to deliver leaflets, to knock on doors. We need to be the party of activism. And I think all of us believe, don't we, in what we're doing? Yeah. So we must all play our part and do our bit. But one of the counter-arguments, well, there are two. One is it a one-man band? I went to the football shirt stand earlier, and there you've got 11 names. Jenkins, Tice, Pochin, and so on. 11 of our most senior elected representatives. And I stood in the middle and held up the shirt that said Farage, and the BBC asked me, am I a one-man band? I said, look at this lot behind me. And one of the joys of this year has been seeing so many other senior reform figures appearing on television, appearing on radio, writing articles for newspapers. We've broadened the scope, and fresh new people are coming in. People like Colin Sutton, the legendary detective, heading up our Police and Crime Commission. People like Vanessa Frake, the toughest prison governor in the country. And many more talented people will come, and I don't believe that all governments have to be MPs in the House of Commons. That's the convention, but it doesn't work, does it? You appoint people to be a rail minister, an education secretary who have no knowledge of the department they're supposed to run. And we will bring in a ministry of all the talents from all walks of life, and to hell with convention. But that brings me on to the other argument, where I will admit we have some weakness. And that is that none of our senior figures have ever been in government before. Oh, we're beginning to see already, through the county councils that we run, certain obstructions from the civil service being put in our way. And I imagine if we win the next election, we may face similar barriers to the kinds of real change that this country needs. So we need experienced people. We need people who have been in government. We need people who understand just how the system works and what the difficulties are. We need people with experience. And that is why, after a lengthy debate and consultation, that is why I'm pleased to welcome today to the stage a woman who was served in cabinet as Culture Secretary, a woman who has sold 3.5 million books, a woman who has been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Somebody from the real world who's worked their way up, been incredibly successful, who actually crosses the boundaries from politician into celebrity. And I'm delighted that we're going to have the experience, the talent, the hard work, and the loyalty of Nadine Dorries, and I'm proud to welcome her onto the stage now.
Well, that's the most dramatic entrance I've ever made into a room, ever. Thank you for that, guys. Everyone, I want to say I am more than delighted to be amongst you today. I'm actually relieved. And the reason why I'm relieved is I feel for the first time in a number of years as though I'm at a conference and amongst people who share the same principles and values as I have always held. And I can feel it in this room, the energy and the excitement and the acknowledgement that there is a job to be done. I want to thank Nigel for that introduction, and I want to thank everybody at Reform for bringing the party to this point. The reason why, and I'm going to deliver probably a slightly more serious message, the reason why is this government is in deep and serious trouble. It is falling apart. It is dividing and fracturing. The Conservative Party did that a number of years ago. But it's not just our political parties which are in trouble. It's the country too. And just as an example of this, if you look at our economy, everything that should be going down is going up. Whether it's taxes, unemployment figures, inflation, the number of illegal immigrants who are crossing the safe continent of Europe and leaving the shores of France to arrive on our shores, everything is going up. But the most important figure which is rising is the interest on our government debt. Now, what does that mean? It means that the international economic community are looking at us, and they have decided that this government cannot manage the economy. It has no faith in this government to reduce public spending. And that was evidenced to us a number of weeks ago when Labour MPs refused to put through cuts to the welfare bill. And when a government shows that it can't manage its economy, and when what is happening to the Labour Party, quite obviously now, it's fracturing and dividing into two, the far left and the left. Some of us have been here before, haven't we? Some of us are still, I'm sure some members in this audience must be as old as I am, and we're here in the 70s when we've been through this before. We know where this road leads to. So we're in deep trouble, and we can't look to either of the main political parties up till now, Labour and Conservatives, to save the country. Now, I think it's an overused expression that the next general election is going to be the most important. We say at every election, it's almost like Peter and the wolf. But for this election coming up, it really is going to be the most important ever. Because when Labour divide, as they are doing, when Corbyn takes off the left, when they unite with the pro-Gaza independents and the new left-wing firebrand leader of the Green Party, and the ragtags and bobtails who will stand as independents during the next general election, and maybe even the Liberal Democrats, we're going to go into an election with two left-wing parties. And what we might face going forward is worse than we've got today. That's why Nigel, his team, Richard and others, the Reform Party is the party of the moment. Because Reform are going to do things differently, because what we know is the way the Conservative Party have done it over the past few years. And to any Conservative Party members who are watching this today and thinking of joining Reform, the Conservative Party do not deserve your loyalty. Support Reform. Do the right thing. Frankly, any party which removes two election-winning prime ministers, replaces them with dud after dud, just does not deserve your support. Nigel has got the answers. All summer, I've been debating, what do I do? And I have watched Nigel time after time, issue after issue, whether it's been law and order, whether it's been illegal immigrants arriving on boats, risking their lives on boats to get here, you know, cross to the UK, leave the safe shores of France, get fed, get housed, check into a premier hotel, and never be deported. And why wouldn't they come here? They never get deported. Huge, huge cost to our public services. I've looked at Nigel, and he has had the answers. His response to the immigrant crisis is just comprehensive. It's not only will it solve the problem of removing people, it will act as the most effective deterrent to others wanting to come that we've ever seen yet. And we know that's the case because it worked with Rwanda. When Rwanda was being put forward and mooted as a plan, the Conservative Party had a way. Its Conservative MPs just didn't have the will because 2/3 of them are Wets and are to the left of the Conservative Party, and they were never going to make it work. And in case you don't know, the majority of Conservative MPs will never support leaving the ECHR. So if you think the Conservative Party was divided and it might get its act together for the future, do not be convinced. It will not. Nobody knows how that party works better than I do. It will tell you a tale, it will tell you a story, but it will not walk the walk and it will not deliver. And I suppose I want to finish by saying this. Loyalty in a political party is everything, whether it's from its members or from its MPs or its councillors. The reason why Labour are falling apart, the reason why the Conservative Party fell apart, is because when they come to be tested, as we saw recently with Keir Starmer having to make a number of U-turns because his MPs won't support him, as we saw in the Conservative Party, divided parties don't win election, and when a party has disloyal MPs, and I know something about this, you know, I was the architect, the person who made the Posh Boys comment. I know what it's like to be disloyal. I've been around for 30 years, I learned the error of my ways, but the one thing I know now is, moving forward, what is important is saving our country. And the only way we can do that is with a party which is united behind its leader, united behind the aims and objectives of that party, and solidly foursquare behind what that party wants to achieve moving forward. It is the only way to do it. So I'm going to finish now. I'm sorry, apologies if I wasn't the person to pump up the audience. I came with the more serious message, but it's important.
She was wonderful, wasn't she?
Thank you. Shall I go now?
Very good. And to all of you watching on live stream, and I know there's a massive audience out there, listen to what Nadine just had to say. Again and again at elections, they talk the talk, they never walk the walk, but we mean what we say, and we will deliver that promise I make you. Now, Nadine is right. Our country is in a very bad place. It's a mixture between anger and despair. Is it any wonder that the protests have sprung up outside the hotels? We are in economic decline. We are in societal breakdown with law and order. We are in cultural decline. It's as if our leaders have forgotten who we were. And when we want to question it, now they will do everything they can to crush free speech online. We are not going to have this. Our country is without doubt in the most dangerous place it's been in my lifetime. And we are, and I get this in the street from people. People point at me and say, you are the last chance we've got to get this country back on track. We are the last chance the country's got to get this country back on track. And that is why, let's make Britain great again. I've heard that phrase somewhere else before, but I agree with it. And that is why, talking of flags, that is why spontaneously across the country, there's barely a lamppost now that doesn't have the Cross of St. George or the Union Jack. And we love it. What is going on out there is the British people are sticking two fingers up with every flag they place to an establishment that doesn't believe in Britain, to an establishment that thinks more of the interests of other countries and foreign courts than it thinks about its own people. And those flags say, we have had enough. And we will, and we're determined, we will make Britain safer again, beginning with zero tolerance policing. If you shoplift, you will be prosecuted. We will bring back genuine stop and search on our streets to drive out knives. We will deport foreign criminals. I'm off to have lunch in a few weeks with the Prime Minister of Albania. I might book a very big plane and take a load with me. I'm not sure yet. And we will stop what is a threat to our national security, what is a danger to girls and women on our streets. We will stop the boats, and we will detain and deport those who illegally break into our country, doing what nearly every normal country around the rest of the world does. You cannot come here illegally and stay. We will stop the boats within 2 weeks of winning government. We will. And we will stop dangerous organizations with links to terrorism operating in our country. Quite why we've been so gutless about this, both Conservative and Labour, I don't know. All across the Middle East, and we will make Britain more prosperous again. Our energy policy, led by Red Ed, is a complete and utter disaster. You've heard of her, haven't you? It's all well and good for Kemi Badenoch to say drill, baby, drill. Who was it that put 75% super taxes on North Sea exploration? Who was it that committed net zero to law in this country? They should not be believed. They should not be listened to. We will scrap ridiculous, harmful, wasteful net zero policies. We will start producing our own oil and gas. We will end the full subsidies for renewable energy. which has been going on your bills for years, yet no one told you. We will end Britain being the most expensive country in the world for industrial energy. We will bring cheap energy, and we will do our utmost to re-industrialize Britain, to start making things here that we want and we need. We will save huge sums. We will save huge sums of wasted public money, as our Doge unit has already begun to do in the county councils. We will do that. And we will, over the course of the next months, outline some serious cuts to the welfare budget in this country. It is not fair. It is not fair on people that get up with their alarm every morning, go to work and pay their taxes, for those that choose a different lifestyle to earn more money than they do. It is morally wrong, it is outrageous, and we'll be the party that backs working people. And we'll make London a centre for digital assets and cryptocurrencies, bringing thousands of jobs and taking us firmly, as well as reindustrializing, into the 21st century technologies. But you can't do that without lots of cheap energy. We're literally betraying anyone in Britain that wants to be part of the modern digital age. And we'll end this disastrous exodus. The rich are leaving. Some people think that's fine. But if the rich leave, if the biggest taxpayers leave, it means everybody else has to pay more. It doesn't make any sense. The politics of envy has never, ever worked. I don't want big taxpayers to leave. But equally, I don't want the young and the ambitious to leave, and they're leaving in droves. So we will make sure that people come back and see us as a place to be. And let's start teaching kids at school trades and services. You know, the one thing that AI will not replace is the local plumber. They're going to make a fortune in the years to come. In fact, looking at the bills, I suspect some of them are already. But most of all, we need to make Britain proud again. We've lost our sense of who we are. We refuse to acknowledge publicly the Judeo-Christian culture and heritage that we have, and that underpins everything that we are. We refuse to have our kids' minds poisoned in schools and universities with a twisted interpretation of the history of these amazing islands. We will not stand for it. We will police the streets and not the tweets, and change all of that legislation that is damaging our rights so very, very much. And we will respect our armed forces, and in particular our veterans, who are those who served in Northern Ireland and elsewhere, being hounded for things that happened 50 years ago. That will end. Now, I've laid out just some of our, and I don't apologize at all for the breadth of our ambition, because that's what this country needs. It needs hope. It needs belief. It needs to smile again. It needs to believe in who we are and that we can have a great future if we turn these things round. And I'm going, in order to get all these policies brought together under one roof, and it's a massive workload, I'm going to ask Zia Youssef from this day to be our head of policy to bring all of this together. And I will, in the next few weeks, open up a new department within the party, leaning on the experience that Nadine and others have, and others will come, others with experience will come, don't worry about that, and we will open a department for preparing for government so that when we win, we can hit the ground running. I promised you a year ago I would professionalise the party. Have a look around you. Have a look at this conference. Haven't our team done just the most amazing job? I promised you I would democratise the party. I think the fact that 70,000 of you voted for our new board members was an incredible show that you believe in the party. You wanted this democratisation. And all I can do is to promise you that I will give this everything. I will give this absolutely everything that I've got. No one cares more about the state of this country than I do. I am determined to do something about it. I came out of last year out of retirement to try and lead a movement that would get our country back. I think we're on track. I think we're on our way. I'm proud to lead this party, and I'm proud of you for the amazing contribution you've made to our success over the next year. But I tell you what, folks, that was just the beginning. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.